Okay. So my name is Coady, and I am a volunteer with the AARP District of Columbia Speakers Bureau. And I'm looking forward here to talk to you today about, we're going to focus on imposter scams we hear about. Just as a way of background, one of the reasons I decided to get involved with the Speakers Bureau is that prior to being in DC, I lived in Michigan for almost 30 years. And there I worked for the Michigan Department of Attorney General in consumer education, and would go around the state and do seminars like this to really try to help people just like you guys do a better job or being able to recognize a scam. So today, again, our goal was with this program, with the AARP Fraud Watch Network, is to help people stay safe from scams and fraud by raising awareness of the tactics that are used and the kinds of scams we see. Because the fact is, if you can spot a scam, you can stop a scam. So in today's sessions, we're going to talk a little bit, I'm going to explain some of the warning signs that you find in every single solitary scam, talk about some of the most common ones we hear, different types of some things to watch for and resources to access. So, I hope actually that you guys will have some questions by the end, but I want to ask you if you would, again, especially given this Zoom setup, hold your questions to the end. We'll definitely have time to go through them, whether you want to choose to type them in the chat or just simply, make a note to yourself, that would be great. And then again, just for right now, keep your microphones on mute so we can make sure that we can get through this smoothly. So I want to start with talking about the warning signs that are present in every scam, regardless of what the story is and regardless of the way it comes to you. Because again, I want to point out, scammers try to get at us in any way they can. So these scams can come by live phone calls, robocalls, text, emails, letters in the mail, even somebody knocking on your door. So again, they come to us in a variety of ways. So these four things are the four elements that are present in every scam. So first, someone contacts you and they tell you a story that's urgent, or maybe asks you to keep it secret. But there's some kind of connection to you that makes you think, well, I might need to pay attention to this. The third thing is that then they ask you for either money or personal information. And the fourth is if they ask you for money, it is in what I'm going to call a suspect payment form. Things like wire transfers and especially gift cards. So again, if we were to spend time later today and talk about different scams that you come across, you'd find these four things. The cost, but it's sort of believable. They ask you for money or personal information, and if it's money, it's in a suspect payment form. So those are the things. And as we talk about some specific scams today, maybe we can kind of spot some of those things. So I just said that one of the things the scammers may ask you for besides money is personal information. So besides recognizing the warning scams, another thing that you can do to really help protect yourself is to keep your personal information safe. So to start with, I just be clear about what personal information is. It's these things you see here on the screen: your social security number, your Medicare number, birth date, address, bank account, credit card numbers, passwords, and anything you use as an answer to a security question. If anyone contacts you and requests that information, you do not want to share it. Because these scammers, when they're contacting you, they're trying to get you to act before you think. But I want you to think rule that I think can help with that. The Cardinal Rule is never give out personal information unless you initiate the contact. So you never give out personal information unless you initiate the contact. Let me just give you a quick example of what I mean by that. If I've got an issue with my bank account and I want to call and get some help, I call the bank and they're going to ask me for my account number, a PIN, a password, something to make sure I meet. I picked up the phone and called the bank at the number I know. I can give out that information. And someone says, there's a problem with your bank account, give me your account number. They're not getting it. I did not initiate the contact. So that's the thing to think about. Never give out personal information or money unless you initiate the contact. Now, we do have another presentation on identity theft, which focuses on protecting your personal information. And, maybe you guys might want to take a look at that one someplace. But let's move on here, get on to the topic of the day, which is imposter scams. Imposter scams involve criminals impersonating someone. They impersonate federal government officials. They impersonate law enforcement, local government, tech support workers. They can even impersonate our friends and family members. The Federal Trade Commission reports that imposter scams are the #1 category of consumer complaints. So today I'm going to talk about 3 main types of imposter scams. We'll talk about government imposter scams. I want to mention the grandparent scam and the tech support scam. So we hear a lot about government. So I want to talk about these in a little more detail. With these scams, the criminal claims to be someone from a federal or a local government agency, and they're usually telling you, you got a big bad problem and you better fix it by, you're warned of this bad situation and you need to fix it back. Call them immediately and get it fixed. So the Social Security scam seems to be the hot one right now. So I want to tell you a little bit about the details of what we're hearing. In these scams, right, claiming that your Social Security number has been compromised and you have to act right away to address it. We hear from people that are getting live calls where the caller says, hey, you're eligible for a cost of living adjustment. Just verify your Social Security number for me. And another flavor of the Social Security scams we hear about is coming by email, where someone receives an email from the Social Security Administration inviting you to click a link and sign up for some kind of like identity theft protection. The thing is, all of those are fake. The Social Security Administration, they may call you back if you've called and left a message because you've got a question. But if you get a call or a text or an email from the Social Security Administration out of the blue, it's a scam 100% of the time. I do kind of want to remind you, if any of you have actually set up an online account through the Social Security Administration to monitor your account, you might get notifications about that, but you're not going to get an email from Social Security offering you identity theft protection. If you've been on the receiving end of any of these things, Social Security Administration does invite you to call their hotline and share it. But again, the long and short of it is they're not going to call you out of the blue, and they are definitely not going to threaten you, and they will not promise you benefits in exchange for information. One of the other most common sort of flavors of government imposter scams is the IRS scam. And back when I was doing these seminars in Michigan, I don't think I in the room had not received the IRS call. So I suspect many of you have. In this scam, usually someone claims to be from the IRS and says that you owe back taxes, and that if you don't immediately pay, they're going to put you in jail, they're going to sue you, they're going to, do all kinds of threatening things. Again, the IRS will not call you out of the blue like that, and they will not threaten you. The other kind of flavor of an IRS scam, in this case, you receive an email that seems like it's from the IRS, and it has a document, it has something attached that looks like your tax return, but really it's a way for a criminal to get you to download something bad for your device that would either steal information or, passwords and access to your financial accounts. So again, the IRS will not call you out of the blue. If there is an issue you have with the IRS, they are always going to send. And IRS staff do not threaten. And then another big red flag, most of these IRS scams tell you that in order to pay your taxes, or the fastest way to pay these back taxes is through gift cards. The IRS does not accept gift cards for tax payments. In fact, again, gift cards are for gifts. That's it. End of story. So again, any call like that is definitely not the IRS. Now another flavor, a scheme that involves trying to trick you into thinking you're going to get a grant. You've got some free money. Maybe you get a call, or you might see an ad, or we even hear about messages coming from Facebook that the federal government is giving away free money. All you have to do is give them personal information and pay a fee up front. Well, you guys know, the federal government doesn't give personal grants to individuals. Yes, the federal government has grants programs, but those are programs, that are given to government work. There is no such agency as the Federal Grants Administration or the Government Grants Administration. And again, anything you see, whether it's online or in a message or in a call that says that's the case, is just flat out lying. Now, another kind of slightly different version of this scam is what we know the sweepstakes or lottery scam. And here again, the scammers may try to claim a government angle. They may claim that they are from the real Federal Trade Commission lottery or sweepstakes. In many cases, these kinds of scams, I've seen a lot of these come in mail and email, and they say they are Publishers Clearinghouse or something like that. So it may not be a government thing. But usually what they do is tell you you've got some big winnings, just have a fee to pay up front and share some personal information for you to get them. So let me say a couple of things about this. First of all, you can't win a contest you didn't enter. Right? Something out of the blue and saying that, you're going to win all this money, it just doesn't happen. And then you guys should also know it's actually illegal in the US to play a foreign lottery. Federal law prohibits the cross-border sale or purchase of lottery tickets by phone or mail. So you get a call, you won the Jamaican lottery or something like that. You didn't. It doesn't exist. And if it did, it would be illegal for you to have entered it. So I know, some of the other stories kind of fear, you've got back taxes, we're going to sue you, we're going to take you to jail. And these kinds of scams, it's still sort of it may have an urgency to it. In order to claim your winnings, you must, respond now. But instead of making you fearful, it actually gets you excited. It's just a different variation of the same thing. Still trying to get you to act before you think. So again, to kind of sum up this government imposter, scam section, government will not call you out of the blue phone, and they certainly will not ask for a payment by gift cards. Again, gift cards are for gifts. These, I just shared some of the ones we hear the most about, but again, these come in all different kinds of flavors. So we were talking about federal agencies. You might get a call that says you've got back parking tickets from City Hall, or it's the local clerk at the local courthouse. You didn't show up for jury duty, and here's your fee. Again, just a variation of the same thing. And then these criminals will also take advantage of what's going on in the world. We've seen criminals take advantage of the pandemic, posing as Medicare, calling to offer, a free, or people were trying to pretend they were the IRS and they were processing your stimulus payment. We even know the criminals have set up fake testing sites just to be able to gather Medicare numbers to use in fraud. So again, those are not ways the government operates. So remembering that if you get anything that comes into you that says it's from the government and is asking for those kinds of things, it's probably almost 100% fake. Now I want to talk a minute about the grandparent scam. Because again, we know that this still is a scam that many fall prey to and that really is targeting people. So the way this one works, the target of these scams gets a frantic call, often in the middle of the night, from someone claiming to be their grandchild, and they need your help right away. to get them out of some mess. Often the story is, and the need is for some kind of bail money. You know, your grandson was in a friend's car and they were pulled over and there were drugs in it. They need you to get them out of jail. Don't tell mom, please don't tell mom. Or the person in the other car is in critical condition and she's going to be charged with reckless endangerment. She needs that money wired to her right now. Again, this scam usually leads to a request for wire transfers. And again, those gift cards, which is not the way to pay anything other than giving somebody a gift. So let me just share a couple of things to think about if you are ever on the receiving end of these calls. And again, these are, I unfortunately had an experience where my mother-in-law fell victim to one of these scams. And it's still of the night and think that maybe you're not going to help your grandchild. Of course you want to help your grandchild. So here are just some things you can kind of hopefully try to remember if you would ever get this call. So if someone says they're your grandchild, ask a question that would be hard for an imposter to guess. Something to sort of poke around and check, is this really my grandchild? You can always hang up that call and call that family member back at a number you know to be true. If you don't have that grandchild number, you can always call someone else in the family. And get where you act. Never take action or send money without checking it out. If it truly were a family member in trouble, there still will be a way for you to help them after you check it out and see if it's a real situation. Now, that third kind of imposter scam I want to talk about is the tech support scam. This one is also very, very common. And what happens here is the scammers pretend to be someone from like a company like Microsoft or Apple, and they call you and say, oh, you've got a problem with your device, but I know how to fix it for you. And what they're trying to do is to get you to give them remote access to your device, your computer, your phone, whatever. And if you do, they'll do one of a number of things. Maybe they're just trying to get a quick few bucks and try to sell you a bogus security software product. Or maybe they, will make it seem, if you give them that access, they can make your device seem like you've got a problem. And then they just charge you. Another thing that can happen is they're actually trying to get you to trick you into downloading something on your computer that will allow them to steal your personal information, to steal your identity. Sometimes this scam comes as a pop-up if you're on a computer. I've seen it happen before. It almost sometimes comes with a noise. Warning, warning, there's something wrong with your device, call here and we'll fix it for you. Okay, no one is sitting in some Microsoft office or Apple or Best Buy or any device and reaching out to you to fix it. So again, if you hear anything like that, hang up. Absolutely, it's definitely a scam. So let me just go again quickly, remind you again about those 4 warning signs. And I bet as we do, you can think about how they showed up in these different scams we just talked about. So again, someone contacts you with an urgent request. They tell you a story that's believable, makes a connection. Then they ask you for money or personal information. And if they are gift cards, again, some not normal payment method. Because again, gift cards are especially common thing that scammers are asking about. So remembering that gift cards are for gifts, period. I mean, if you walk away today from that with that one memory, that one thing to remember, that would really go a long way to help you protect yourself as well. So let me just give you just another thing that maybe you can leave in the back of your head is the idea that when you get something, if you have any doubt, when in doubt, check it out. When in doubt, and you're not sure if it's a scam, there's always a way. If it's a grandparent scam, you can hang up and call that grandchild. If it's a government agency, you can ignore what they sent you, find the right number and call them. The other thing that you can do is to call our AARP Fraud Watch Network helpline. These are trained volunteers there that can give you a lot of resources if you've become or someone in your family's become a victim? God, what do you think? And they'll help you figure out whether or not it's a scam. We also, through the AARP website, have a section for the Fraud Watch Network that offers a number of things. You can sign up for a bi-weekly newsletter in your email called Watchdog Alerts. We have a podcast series called The Perfect Scam. You may find that you could learn something from paying attention to those. And then again, there are other resources there for tips to recognize scams and fraud. For a minute to talk about support for people who become victims for scams. You know, we know if it happens to you, I mean, there's a lot of emotion that comes with it, but you can feel kind of embarrassed. But the fact is, anyone at any age from any background can fall victim to scams. Absolutely anyone. So it's not something really to be ashamed of and to hold it in. It's important to talk about it because, again, whether it's through our Fraud Watch Network helpline or other places, there are ways for resources. In fact, a support session for victims of scams and fraud. You know, and the other thing that's important about talking about it is what we all learn from each other. You know, you tell a friend or a neighbor about what you heard today about the Social Security scam, you might protect them from falling victim themselves. So this kind of stuff is really good for us all to talk about and share with each other, because not only are you reinforcing, you know, what you know and what might help you, but you may be helping a friend or a neighbor as well. So hopefully you can, you know, leave this session later today with an understanding a little bit better about what imposter scams are, how to recognize some of the common signs of a scam, and take steps to help protect yourself. I also want to put up here for a second our contact information. If you want to reach the AARP District of Columbia office and access to some of the other materials they have. I know Emily from the office is on the call with us today, and she's mentioned to Dale that she will follow up with some things that can be sent to you guys by email. So that is the end of the presentation I have, but you know, maybe we could try to go through some questions first, and then maybe if we've got time, I'll let Dale call on this or not, to share some of the stories if you've either encountered other scams that you might want to share with each other. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen so I can look at you guys a little bit more and see if we want to go forward with questions.
Okay, I'll put us in gallery mode so that you can kind of see everybody more easily. But I so appreciate it. You know, I mean, that's some really great information. I've been a victim of a scam and trying to help a friend get a job, and they asked for just the things you were talking about, and finally a bell rang off in my mind and said, no, this is a scam, you know. But you know, we had already invested some money, but it wasn't a whole lot, thank God, you know.
Good.
Jerry, you had some questions about scams around Medicare that people were talking to you about. You want to ask Chris some questions? You've got to unmute, sweetie. There you go.
Okay. I have experienced scams, two scams. The first one was with the tech support scam with Microsoft, and I lost about $1,000 on that. Unfortunately, they asked for gift cards, and they kept promising money, and I had to keep. It's like a carrot in front of you, and I lost that, and then I got recently was scammed with grants, government grants, and the way they got me on that was they impersonated one of my relatives and a niece's Facebook page, and they impersonated my niece and then said, "Oh, this is on the legitimate. You know, you can trust me, when they asked me for a gift card, I said, no way, this is not right. Because of the previous one. And so I blocked it and didn't report it. I didn't exactly know how to do that. But I'm glad to get this call number for AARP. I am.
You
The
can-
question on the okay, all these scam calls, or I don't know if they're scam, but they're Medicare. I'm getting just tons and tons of robocalls, and I can't stop them. They keep calling, and I keep telling them, don't call me anymore, but they keep calling. And it's,
you know, yeah, the robocalls is an especially insidious things, and you may very well be getting calls from legitimate organizations that is simply answering your phone is going to mean you're going to get more. When you answer the phone, you've told the technology on the other end that you answer the phone. So they're going to sell your number to other people who want to make those calls.
wow.
And then if you interact with the person, or like they say press 1 for this, or to get to a live person, you know, you've got 2 stars behind your phone number now, because not only did you answer, you followed instructions. My advice would be, even though some of those calls may very well be from legitimate organizations, don't answer. You don't know who's calling you, don't answer.
Yeah.
I normally allow it to go to voicemail, because in my mind, if it was a legitimate person, they leave a voicemail about whatever that
Yes.
concern was. And a lot of times I'll get still the machine that says, don't hang up. And I go, block you.
That's what I've been doing. I just hang up when they say this is on a recorded call. Can you hear me now or something? I just hang up.
Oh, yeah. And even when you're getting a sales call from, you know, again, from maybe a legitimate organization or company, you know, who needs to buy something because somebody called you, right? I mean, that's not the way you want to make a purchase. If you needed or wanted some other kind of insurance product, there are ways for you to get help to find the right one for you. So, you know, even when it's a legitimate company, there's why buy something? Just like, you know, I'm the best roofer. Let me, you know, fix your roof if it's broken. You wouldn't do that, right? You're going to find somebody with a reputation. So there's not much to be gained from even answering the calls.
Right.
Lewis has a question.
Yeah, I just want to add something to what Jerry said. When you answer a call and you say yes, sometimes they record your voice and they use it to
Right.
move forward and say that you approve to purchase this product. So you hear me.
Yeah, I've heard that. That's
I know that when I would, you know, share the advice, and it sounds kind of harsh, you know, don't answer your phone, period, if you don't know who it is. I know though, sometimes you might be expecting a call from, you know, maybe your doctor's office is supposed to call you back, or the pharmacy is supposed to call you back. And so it could be, there'll be times where maybe it's not really comfortable to miss the call. I've heard of, and I've had this experience myself, where when in the doctor's office, I ask them, what will the phone number look like when you call me back? What number will I see? Sometimes they're not able to tell me, but a lot of times they are, because I think more people are asking. So then I can have a little greater chance that if I take, you know, but if that's, I know it's going to be a 517-333 number, that, okay, I'll take the chance to answer that call. So that's just something to think about, asking for that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Peggy, you have to unmute yourself, honey. Still
Can't hear
muted.
you.
You're still muted.
Click the unmute.
On the microphone. There you go. There you
There you
go.
go.
Okay. Me and technology. I got caught on the computer scam.
Okay.
My computer started making a awful sound, siren-like
Ah.
sound on Microsoft. So I did call, and they said, well, they gave me a long spiel about what I had to do, and I couldn't share my computer because I couldn't follow the directions, I guess. But at any rate, I could not stop that sound. And I called back and I said, well, why don't you stop the sound? And he said, well, because I need to get on your computer. So, but then when he started asking for money, that I could send him right away. So I said, no, this doesn't sound right.
Good for you.
I unplugged the computer. It still made that sound. I had to take the battery out of it
Oh,
to make it stop the sound.
Yeah.
But then I was on my way to Best Buy to find out why would Microsoft do that? And they told me, well, that wasn't Microsoft.
right.
And I was going like, good thing I didn't send them $300 or $400.
Good for you. Good for you. You know, I wanted to follow up one other thing with Jerry, when Jerry was telling us his story about someone impersonating his niece. You know, we could talk for a while about the information that's out there online that can be used against us. And even if you personally don't, you know, have a Facebook account or use any social media, if you have family members who do, that can be a way, again, where to believe something. My mother-in-law was a grandparent scam. It turned out she had a Facebook page. She didn't do much with it, but she didn't have very good privacy settings. So the scammers were able to identify a grandson's name and that he was a teacher in Chicago. Once she heard that from them, she's like, oh, this is, you know, this is real. So it's again, you want to think about yourself, what you are sharing. If you do have any kind of social family members or friends are sharing, that could be a problem for us too.
Wow, Chris, this is really great. Thank you so much. I even still learn stuff. It's just, they just do so much stuff out there. And even from listening to Jerry and to Peggy, you know, stuff that, you know, I hadn't heard before. And I'm like, oh my goodness, you know, they're really crazy out there.
Yeah, they're always coming up with new tricks, you know. They'll, if you know, if we're successful enough at getting everybody to really remember that gift cards are only for gifts, they'll probably switch to something else.
Yeah, they will.
I want to add one more thing. A lot of times I'm getting messages on email, like from Walmart, $500 gift certificate or something. And then just sign up and give us your information. I'm leery of those because I haven't gotten any requests for money, but I suspect that those are scams too. Walmart and
like it.
different stores.
You know, I can try to tell you a trick. Well, maybe I can, well, I might be able to show you, but so I would tell you this, these phone calls, don't answer if you don't know who it is and why they're, you know, contacting you. You get an email, you didn't order something from Walmart, you don't need them, don't open it up.
Right.
But if you are, if you're online and you see, there's a link they want you to follow.
Yeah.
If you hover your mouse over the link, don't click, you just put the mouse on the link, it will show you, in my computer, it's the bottom left-hand corner, where if I open up an email from Walmart and they say, you know, log into your account, if I hover my mouse over it and it's not saying it's going to walmart.com, it's going, you know, sometimes it's gibberish, sometimes it's clearly some other name. That's just telling you that if you click on that link, you're going somewhere you don't want to go.
That's good. Yeah.
So that's a good technique.
Yeah. Great. I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah.
I'm usually pretty aware, especially if
So
I
that you
forwarded
know,
something. Agent, you had a question?
Yeah, not really a question, just want to throw something else out there. It's so easy for people to get your personal information now and information on your relatives, as she said, even if, because I don't use Facebook, it just invades too much. But if my nieces and nephews are using, if you could get that. What I do and what I suggest to a lot of people all the time is Google yourself.
good advice.
Google yourself. I go to different websites every now and then, but you know, I don't really have a big life up here in Delaware. So from time to time I go online and I Google my own self. And I can Google my brother's name, my sister's name, and my name will still come up, even though I Google different different place. I'll put my name in Google. I'll keep it simple. I can put my name in Google, and all these sites that come up saying, we found Adrian Fields, she's such and such and such and such. And I'll click on that and find the right Adrian Fields, and then I send that company an email request to remove my personal. They usually do it.
Mhm.
But
That's
lately
a good suggestion.
I found out that if you Google my brothers and sisters, my name will come up on theirs just as well. So it's kind of hard. I have a 93-year-old aunt that lives in Texas, and you can Google her name, and it shows her phone number, her home address, everything with her. Somebody looking to run a scam on somebody else, they would have all this information so they could call her and run scams or any knock on her door and tell her she needs some work done or anything like that. So the internet is a good thing, but it's a bad thing. So
You're right. You're right.
if
It might, I don't know if you've, in the future, you've got maybe at another meeting, you would want us to come back and talk about identity theft and protecting your personal information. There's
I
other,
definitely will schedule you for that. That would be helpful to people.
but Adrian, that's great advice. Great advice.
thank you.
Yeah, that's great. Anybody else have some questions or, comments or anything that they would like to ask?
I just want to add one thing real quick. A lot of times, click on these fun kind of things about what kind of person you are, and then give you these glowing things, but you have to put in some personal information. And it didn't occur to me that your favorite hobby, what kind of car, those things that you answer as confirmation are the things that people are picking up.
There are criminals who know how to reverse engineer those surveys. So, I used to do internet, say, "Disney princess are you?" or whatever. And they can work backwards and figure out both. You're right, you probably entered some information that was personal, but even if if it isn't clear in the result, it can be reverse engineered. So yeah, as fun as those things are, you don't want to do it. How many states have you visited? Well, all that stuff. It is just revealing personal information. You're right.
I put my name in and
Turn it back off. There you go, right there.
I put my name in. I don't remember name in. It had my name, address, phone number, a picture of my house
Yep.
and back. It did a whole circle of my house. and it had where my car was, and because it's kept in front of the door, a picture of my car. I was amazed. I really was.
Yeah.
But I
So
didn't know you could get off of these things.
Yeah, and to some degree you can, and some, but part of it also ends up being that we just have to learn and understand this, even if we didn't put it. So there are other things that you can do to just, again, protect yourself and make sure, for example, that if you've got a security question to your bank account and it's what's the make and model of your car, well, in your case, if you can find a picture online with your car sitting right in front of your house, then somebody else could see that and use, you know, have that information to guess at your security question answer. So it's, you know, knowing, you know, doing as Adrian suggested, seeing in a way, but at least you know what's out there, and monitor how much security you put in that particular set of your data to, you know, not rely on that for, again, passwords and security question answers.
Yep, that's very
I have a
true.
question.
Go ahead.
I have a question. I needed the telephone number for the
Yeah.
Social Security scam.
Okay,
Again?
hold on, let me, network helpline, or are you looking for the Social Security phone number?
I need the Social Security
Okay,
scam.
so let me see if I
It
can,
was
I will find it here. And I will type it in the chat. Hold on a second. Okay. Oops. Okay, it is 800 269 0271. Okay, so there's that. I can also, why don't I type in the Fraud Watch Network number 2? Let me just go grab it.
Do you see it okay, Doris? You want me
In my head?
to tell you?
I got the 26902. What was the rest of it?
71. 800
Okay.
269
Great.
0271. That's the Social Security
Okay,
one.
thank you.
No
Right,
problem.
okay, thanks a lot.
Okay.
And then you've got the AARP. I'm recording this session so
Oh, that's
that
right.
the people can also look back. I'll send a link where you can look back through the slides, and they have the AARP hotline, who I'm sure can guide you to these other numbers too.
Yes,
You have
absolutely.
nothing else.
Okay. So
There's the AARP
Okay.
fraud line.
Yes, got that one.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
again, they can help you figure out. This again was something Jerry said earlier. If you fall victim, and maybe I know some of you have told the stories of how you have. They were very long ago, you know, maybe too late. But I would encourage you to file a police report still, and let them, you know, and let them know. It, you know, that there's mixed, it's very difficult to somehow sometimes track these people down. But I think sharing the information with law enforcement is helpful too. You don't know, I mean, what if they find you to have the same thing happen? That might give, you know, enough data that something else could do with it. So think about filing a police report.
Yeah, at least you have a record. And
Correct.
that may help somebody else. You can never
Correct.
tell, you know, so.
Absolutely.
Thanks again.
You're welcome.
Okay, any other questions, folks? I'm gonna go ahead and get ready to wrap up. I appreciate everybody coming to listening. Thank you so much, Chris, Emily, for ushering us through this process, and educating us. Next month, for those who would like, who have not seen Queen Esther up at Sight and Sounds, because the pandemic, I'm going to actually play that on the Zoom for next month's older adult, and you can see the entire version. Bring your popcorn, lay back and get a free look at it without having to pay all that money. It may not be like there where you can see the actors live and everything in that way, but it should be a nice review at the end. And before we actually start the movie, I'll go over what the projected year will be coming. I will work Chris in for the identity theft briefing, so that I'm sure that will be great. And again, thank you so much. I appreciate everything. I appreciate you guys coming and continue to support the older adults, and just hang in there. Maybe sometime next year we will be able to do the in-person thing, but it's just kind of hard to say with the way things are. We just got to take that a step by step. And I want to keep people safe, but still make sure that we have some kind of fellowship, and that we really gain something out of the various speakers and discussions we have. So if you don't have anything else for us, Chris, I'm going to go ahead and pray us out.
Thank you, Dale. Thank you, Chris.
All right. Dear God, thank you for bringing us here today, for watching over us. Thank you for bringing the speakers to us, to expound in their knowledge, to help us stay safe in our technology word. And until we meet again next month, keep us and our families safe. In this we pray. Amen. Y'all have a blessed
Amen.
Sunday. And y'all know I'm online every week.
Amen. Thanks, Dale.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank
everybody.
you. Appreciate everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.